To the spacing side, here is how we talk about it. We don't number our receivers 1, 2, 3 from outside in like a lot of folks do. We teach receivers in terms of, are you inside, are you middle, or are you outside in a given formation. So the first guy that we're going to talk to is the inside receiver. I should fast forward here a little bit. We'll come back to the middle guy in a minute. Is the inside receiver, because I'll put all this up on the screen, is the inside receiver of the spacing side. The inside receiver to the spacing side, first of all, wants to take a split if he is a receiver. Now, a lot of times he's a tight end, but if he's a slot receiver, he wants his split to be 3 to 4 yards outside the tackle. And what we're trying to do is really on the spacing side, the big picture of it is we're trying to play 3-on-2 basketball is really what we want to have happen, particularly against zone defense. We want to play 3-on-2 basketball. The first short defender, the flat defender, whether it's a drop-down safety, outside linebacker, whatever, he's one of the guys we're playing basketball off of. The next guy inside, the hook defender, the second short defender, inside linebacker, Mike linebacker, whomever he is, stack linebacker. That second guy is the other guy we're trying to play 3-on-2 with. And so the name spacing comes from the teaching point that Bill Walsh used is that these three guys have to execute just like a 3-on-2 fast break. They have to execute with correct horizontal spacing, which really should look like about an 8-yard margin between any of the three of them. And the guy that's going to end up in the middle of that 3-on-2 fast break, the outside receiver, he's going to have the most freedom to maneuver to create the kind of spacing we want. So we should have correct horizontal spacing, 8 yards apart among each of the three so that we can beat these two short defenders, the flat defender and the hook defender. That's sort of the thought that we start with. So it's the job of the inside receiver in that picture to start to create the spacing by fighting through the inside shoulder of the hook defender or the second short defender. We don't say in our world, we don't say what some people say, which is hook up over the ball, because we feel like if we're executing this play from the slot receiver position, it's hard to hook up over the ball, and sometimes that brings an extra linebacker into the picture. We do it off of men. So his deal is your landmark is the inside shoulder of that hook defender or the second short defender. The initial depth is 6 yards deep. That's the basic depth we use. And again, we'll calibrate that deeper if the thing that's going on over here on the front side demands that it be deeper for timing purposes. But the starting depth is 6 yards through the inside shoulder of the hook defender. You want to be extremely distinct at the top of this break. By distinct, I mean stick your foot in the ground and pull your elbow through and snap so that your head comes around suddenly. The big technique mistake that you'll see out of the top of this break is that they'll wander into the top of the break and they'll start to turn their head before they distinctly plant their foot. And what happens is the quarterback doesn't get a distinct look at him, and if the quarterback doesn't get a distinct look at him, for reasons we'll talk about in a minute, he's going to bypass him in his progression. Quarterback does not have a lot of time to make a decision, so he needs to be distinct at the top of the route and make a sudden turn. If there's contact to the inside shoulder of this hook defender, that's fine. We don't mind it because it's helping clarify where defenders go if he wants to engage me with that kind of contact. So I'm going to be distinct at the top of the break. I'm going to snap my head around by pulling my elbow, and I'm going to use the phrase that we learned from Coach Leffler, who's now at Virginia Tech, called get big in the paint. I want to stick my butt out. I want my chest to be out. I want my eyes to be on the quarterback when I feel like I'm open. I'm going to get big in the paint. The other thing we say is you do not have a lot of lateral freedom. Most of the lateral freedom is going to go to the outside receiver who's working the middle part of the spacing. So your freedom is restricted really to one step on either side of you. One step on either side of you. Can't work too far inside because it may bring you into a front side linebacker. Can't work too far back outside or you get into the sandbox of this route, which we'll eventually call the mini curl. So inside receiver, run a 6-yard sit through the inside shoulder of the hook defender. Be distinct at the top, get big in the paint, give the quarterback eyes when you're open. Give the quarterback eyes when you're open. The other part of that we teach is the run after catch is extremely important, and the old Hal Mummy, Tony Franklin, subtle and news drill becomes a big part of this now. It's because when we catch it, the quarterback's going to be taught to put the ball on the shoulder opposite where the nearest defender is. So if the nearest defender is here, the ball's on this shoulder. If the nearest defender is here, the ball's on this shoulder. If the nearest defender is close enough to make a play on the ball, then the ball will be in my gut so that I can make a cocoon and shield myself from the play being made over the top. Those are the coaching points in terms of ball placement, and I have to trust that ball placement. Because if the ball is here, then I need to make a tight 180-degree turn and get north and south and split defenders. If the ball is here, tight 180-degree turn, north and south, split defenders. Here, I need to cradle the ball and catch it and secure it so the play's not made over the top. And the subtle and noose drill is the best single drill to create that skill, but we want to be big on run after catch, split defenders, don't wander sideways, don't hesitate, don't hesitate. So that's the inside part of the spacing run by the sit route. 6 yards deep is the base depth. The outside receiver on spacing, who becomes the middle part of the three receivers once the breaks are made, he's going to take what we call a tight split. A tight split for us is defined as if you're to the wide side of the field, you're aligned on the hash. If we're in the middle of the field, you're on the top of the numbers in a high school setting, okay, in normal high school field markings. So we want a tight split. We want to work vertically to 5 yards. As we're working vertically to 5 yards, we're going to stick our outside foot in the ground without losing any speed, and we're going to make a slant break. On that slant break, we're going to assess the flat defender or the first short defender. We're going to assess what window is he giving and what angle do I need to make on that slant break to get me into the fat of the zone. Because where we really want this player to present himself is in the window inside the flat defender. In the window, we would like for him to get his chest through that lane and his eyes to the quarterback so we have a clean lane to throw through. So use that slant break to get you into that, and then at 7 to 8 yards, you're going to come back down through into the fat of the zone at whatever angle the defense requires you. So you got some freedom. You got some freedom. What you want to do is present your chest as soon as you're open, present your chest and eyes to the quarterback, but you do have freedom to slide laterally wherever the zone is most open. Use this slant break to assess the angle. Now, if the corner is a cloud corner, a hard cloud corner, you can just diagonal stem into your route right away. You can diagonal stem into your route right away. Base depth for this guy is 7 to 8, as long as we're not doing something deeper on the front side. Base depth is 7 to 8. Work into the fat of the zone. Again, give your quarterback eyes. Give him your chest once you're in the fat of the zone so he knows to throw you the ball. Use the same run after catch rules we gave the sit. On the shoulder where the ball is delivered, make a tight turn, split defenders. If he gives it to you on the gut, squeeze your elbows and protect the catch because the quarterback's telling you you're about to get hit by that ball placement. So those are the coaching points for the mini curl. We do have a provision if you're in a bunched alignment, which we will use a lot of times for spacing, is you just spray your release and then run the top of your route in the normal manner you would just without the slant break. Just without the slant break. You would use this wide departure release, 7 yards deep by 3 yards wide, to assess the flat defender. Your whole goal is to beat him. The route is almost secondary. Your goal is to beat the flat defender, get yourself presented into the fat of the zone. The middle receiver, who sometimes, as we'll see, is going to become the running back by definition, but the middle receiver, if we have 3 detached, will run what we call a push arrow. And we've changed some even since this diagram. What we don't really want is we don't want the arrow to clean the flat defender out too soon. Because remember, to the spacing side, the spacing side is not the quarterback's initial thought. So we're not trying to get open fast. So really what we want you to do is push right at the flat defender to a depth of 3 to 4 yards and push more vertically than this diagram indicates. And then we'll use another term Coach Leffler gave us, which is golf cart speed to the flat. Golf cart speed to the flat. We don't want the defender to jump out with us and then potentially fall back into the mini curl lane. We want the defender to pull out with us gradually. So push at him for 3 to 4 good yards, then break flat at golf cart speed. When you get to the bottom of the numbers, give the quarterback your chest. Flip your shoulders, give the quarterback your chest. You are the last receiver in the progression. You're the last receiver in the progression. And so you don't need to be open early because It's a matter of tempo. So that's how the spacing side gets built for us. And we use a lot of different kinds of drills where we present different windows. We adapt the subtle and noose drill to where they have to find the correct window and fight through it and be distinct through it, because you have to get open on the spacing side. It's not an option to be covered. Somebody has to be open on the spacing side, even if they're in a drop 8 or we haven't done our job, is how we feel about it. And so that's a big part of what we do to create the comfort level for the